So I've reached the end point of the reading of the word, and she's preparing to close and enter into her sermon. So this is what you do when she's about to end. Just find the point where she finishes reading first.
From Geba as far as Gazier. My title today is Breakthrough in the Night.
Okay, so she starts with my title. So around there, we want this to fade out. So let's find the point. Okay, so as you can see, there's a pause here in the waveform. She stops speaking here, takes a breath, and starts speaking again. So if we zoom out, if we select all of these and then use this to drag it in, this is where we want it to fade out, around here somewhere. Okay, and now we're just going to add a film dissolve to all of these layers. And this one you don't have to adjust, just let it fade out slowly. Okay, and then once you do that, just go ahead and play it back to make sure it looks nice.
Geba as far as Gazier. My title today is Breakthrough in the Night.
There you go. So that's the process that you're going to have to repeat throughout the whole sermon. So continue listening to the sermon and finding those points. So as you listen to the sermon, let's say the next point that you need the Bible verses again is right here. I would go to this part right here. Let's say this is the point. I would make sure my cursor is right on the point where she needs the verse again. And then just go ahead and select, let's say she needs verses 19 and 20 from 2 Samuel chapter 5. If she needs verses 19 and 20 again, I got it right here. Let's just go ahead and copy it and paste it. And you'll see that it'll paste right to the point where your cursor was. Let's say she brings up a completely different verse. You can still come here and highlight, copy it. Let's say she needs a new verse at this point. Make sure your cursor is there. Copy, Control V, paste. And from there, I can change this to whatever verse. Let's say she said Psalms chapter 5. I can just go ahead and edit this. Obviously, I'm going to have to adjust things. She needs verses 12 through 14. So just go to Effect Controls and adjust it. Make sure it's, centered. Since it's smaller, just make sure it's centered and not all the way to one side. And then we can do the same thing, just replace this. So instead of repeating this process from scratch, just copy and paste. So yeah, just continue that process as you go through the sermon. And the next thing that you're gonna come into is, this is the end point. Because our camera only records for 30 minutes, there's always gonna be at least 2 clips that you edit together. So when you get to the point where the end of one recording is and the start of the next one is, you want to make sure that you trim these edges right here. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I select just the video layer, press down Alt, click, and then just drag it in so it aligns with the audio from Pastor David. Let's do the same here. Alt, click, align that. Now just delete the space. Let's play it and see how it transitions.
I know! You gotta know where to run.
Once you just trim both of these clips and make sure that they align well and the audio is trimmed, you can just continue moving on and just make sure that you're adding the Bible verses to where it's needed throughout the sermon. Now, once you get to the end of the sermon, you want to find the point where it transitions from the end of the sermon to the altar call or the next part of the service. Okay, so I believe that I found it right here. So once you find the end point, just make sure you're using an area where there's a pause, and then you just want to make a cut and Control K it and delete the rest of it because you don't need that. And we're just going to put a dip to black. If you go back to effects here, an exponential fade, just play it. So you always want to start the sermon with a fade in on the video and the audio, and end the sermon with a fade out on the video and the audio. So once you do that, I would always recommend going through the whole sermon and just making sure that everything is good in terms of the Bible verses. So just go through the Bible verses, make sure the references is right. There's no typos. It comes up at the right time. It disappears at the right time. And then once you do that, just make sure your intro is good. The fade in is good. And once you do that, you're ready to export. All right, so in order to export, you're gonna wanna go to the very beginning. In order to go to the beginning, you can just press up on your arrow key. And let's say you're at the end. If you're all the way here, your cursor is here, just press up. It's gonna take you all the way to the beginning. You can zoom in to make sure you're right at the beginning. And then you're gonna press I on your keyboard. And you can press the down key to go all the way to the end. Press O. And we just made a selection. So if I zoom out, you'll see that this whole thing is selected. So we do that because when we export, we don't want to export the whole sequence, because we have an hour plus on this sequence, but we only need around 33 minutes. So you want to go to export here. And now what I want you to do is basically just copy all the settings that I show you right now. I have a preset, but obviously you don't have a preset yet, but you're about to get one. So go to video and make sure that it matches the source 1920 by 1080. Just look at these settings and make sure it's similar. Press more and make sure both of these are actually selected. Render at maximum depth, use maximum render quality, frame sampling, hardware encoding, high 4.2, VBR pass 1, make sure it's at 20. And apart from that, you should be good. This is another big one, source in and out. If you do entire source, we're gonna get a video that's over an hour long. So make sure source in and out is selected. That's why we highlighted the beginning and the end of the sermon. And then, yeah, this should be fine how it is. This is gonna show you how big the file will be. So it's about to be 5,053 megabytes, which is 5.3 gigabytes. Just name the sermon whatever you want to call it. Make sure you select the right folder as well. Once that is good, you're going to want to create a new preset. So once you've set up all these settings, save the preset and just name it, let's say Light City Sermon 2025 preset. And now every time that you come to export, all you're gonna have to do is to go down and find your preset, click it, and you won't have to set all these settings every single time. And now you're free to export. Okay, once your video has exported, just make sure to watch it over again and make sure that the audio is working, the graphics look good, and yeah, just watch it to make sure before you upload it to the Google Drive and then upload it to YouTube. So yeah, you're gonna want to go to the folder that aligns with the week that you're editing for. So for me, it's 02/02/25, and you're gonna want to upload the sermon in here. But before you even do that, I would always recommend uploading to YouTube so that you can meet the deadline. But once you upload to YouTube, make sure to also upload it to this folder so we have access to it as well.